So we've been here before profiling this great and magnificent homestead, and we are back again invited as guests at a wonderful graduation ceremony to celebrate a doctoral degree for Hezikiya Chiyaka, the man behind this great vision. And we take this same opportunity to speak to him about his passion for rural development and also the vision that he has for the community around him.
I remember growing up, my dad used to talk to us. He really wanted us to build a good homestead here. It became a passion for me. Among my siblings, I'm the only one who was born right here. My parents were just peasant farmers. It was not a good background. We were struggling. The houses that were here, if you would see them, they were just like huts, and we just had a few cattle, a few goats. Even before we go to school, we would wake up, go to the field first, work in the fields. When it's time to go to school, we just, take a bath and then you run to school. But my parents were hard workers. They made sure that we all went to school. We didn't have electricity. We would use lamps, and each time I would probably study for a test. The following morning, if I would put a finger in my nostrils, it would come out black because of the smoke from a lamp. And seeing what's there now that we now have electricity, it's amazing. I really cherish that background because though it was very difficult as we were growing up, but I think I've been toughened in the way I see things, in the way I handle issues of life because of my background. This is very important because this is where I grew up. So when I was born, my father used to work in Bulawayo, and my mother was here at home with us. As a young boy, I just loved the rural setup. There is so much freedom. You breathe in good air, and you have quite enough pieces of land that you can do a lot of projects. Thank God for my wife. We both had the same passion to build a nice home here in the rural area, and thinking that when we retire, would love to come and just settle down in the rural.
Initially, when my husband started talking about this project, building here, I didn't quite understand it, but as time went on, ndakatanga kunzwisisa nepataveri nhasi izvezvizvi. It's a blessing. Being here, vamwe vazhinji vaiti makavakire kumusha imba yakakura kudai, haikuitisi imari mukavaka kumatauni inokuitisa imari, but tiri kutoona ma-advantages of building here. Was one, there is more space, land yakakura, you can do a lot of projects, kuno kumusha zvisina kana problems, zvisina kana any more expense. Even kuvaka kwacho was much cheaper. I'm so happy, I'm so grateful.
All our kids, all these years, they've been in the US, and they've been hearing us talking about relatives, some names, they've never put any face to any name. For me, it's a big thing because I want my kids to have the African values, the African culture.
They were so surprised seeing a lot of family, a lot of relatives. They are used to the culture in America, but when they come here, I think it gives them a balance because it's a bigger family. From my mother's side and from my father's side, and then my husband's side too, they interact, they know, we have these relatives, this is my cousin, this is my brother, this is my sister, this is my mom, my grandmom, a lot of grandmamas, a lot of grandfathers, a lot of papas around them.
One funny thing is, the last time we came, when we went back, they were imitating and copying what people were doing here. It was fun, and they loved it.
There's more vegetation. but the vegetation is way nicer. The roads are more bumpy. It's been pretty good so far. I got to see a lot of family again, and so far it's been pretty good, but there's also been rough at the same time. When it comes to just like adjusting to the time change and just like the heat.
Everything in America is fast-paced, quick. Everything's fast food in a sense. When I'm back home, I rarely eat fast food. I have my tetes or my gogos cooking for me, and that's the best food, honestly. So that, and then just having like fresh produce instead of going to the store and buying it. It's already grown here, so things like that. The highlight for me would be just like community, being around everyone. It doesn't matter if you're not necessarily family, but you see, I just like how people here come together.
I've always said I'll retire in Zim. Whenever school is done and living comfortably and getting the money that I need, I will definitely retire in Zim. Me personally, I love cooking. I love cooking. At home, I love cooking. And here, cooking is more, what is the word I can say, hands-on. You have to be using a fire and not using a stove.
All the time, at least.
All the time. And having to go fetch things, get the water, get the eggs, get the milk. You have to milk an actual cow if you want milk here, and get the eggs from the actual chickens. So it's different, but it's more fun for me at least. And so it's a different feeling here when you come here and I see my cousins, my actual uncles, my aunts, my gogos, everybody that is actually your family. It's really nice to see.
And you begin to see you all, like you have the same traits as them. You're like, why do you act like me? Like stuff like that. You have the same humor, and it's so different from like family friends back in the States, because they're not really your blood relatives, as she's saying. So you begin to pick up on things like that, and it's really nice. One thing for me that I don't do in the States is sweeping what's it called, the veranda? Not the veranda, but where there's dirt, you make sure all the leaves and everything is not, you have to make the house look presentable. That's probably the hardest one. Without a broom too, you have to use them to try to.
I feel like secondhand, it's great to see everybody's connections here. All the words that people had to say about all these people here, and even the dedication that went into redoing these tombstones. It shows how much like our family really cares. It just shows how strong the community is, even we could have left them how they were, but just as a respecting, just to make them nice, make them beautiful, presentable.
Obviously, growing up, Dad would tell me stories about Sekuru and my guru and stuff. I think I've seen one picture of Sekuru so seeing this picture is nice, and this one as well. And then finally getting to be here, at least not laying her to rest, but being here when everyone else is here to, represent Gogo as well. It was really, really nice. And one thing we also need to learn and keep in our hearts that family is the most important thing. So if anyone passes in our family, we'll know like how to do everything correctly.
I just feel at peace when I'm home. Being among us, your people, your relatives, your colleagues, home is home, home is best. No matter kwakamira say, no matter but still you just feel that peace when you're home. It's different from being out of the country.
Even when we settle in the rural, we're not missing anything that people in the city have. We pretty much have everything. Adding on to that, we're doing a lot of projects around. We are doing this even to inspire the people and say, this can be done in the rural. We can change our rural setups and make them habitable. I think it's just a mindset thing. You see there's a hill behind this house. We are planning to build a water reservoir, and we can drill 3 or 4 boreholes. It will feed the tank, and we want to make sure that people have access to clean water right at their homestead. We are planning to then train them and encourage them to shift from using chemical fertilizers when they do their farming. We want to shift to organic farming, because that's very important for our health, their health, the health of the community. The next thing then will be teach them how to do projects for their own families. Probably we will help them by looking for markets where they can sell their products. That's what we're looking forward to.